Hey guys, welcome to this week's edition of Celebrating Second Nature. Our mission to make healthy living second nature is our why, or why is pretty cool. So thanks to Alistair from the data team who's sorted out Metabase to give us some ongoing sort of weight loss metrics every month, which is really cool. So I thought I'd share the April weight loss so far. So it's only been 9 days in, but we're already at 1,485 kilograms. Didn't work out in stones. I should have done, or pounds, but oh well. But anyway, that is about 1/150th as heavy as the Statue of Liberty without the base, but still, that's a lot of weight we've helped people lose, which is pretty cool. And yeah, I mean, our competitors be like, well, yeah, I mean, we've helped people lose over 1/150th the weight of the Statue of Liberty in just 8 days or 9 days. And then, we count points and stuff. Yeah, you keep going. So anyway, I thought I'd touch on something I've picked up in the last couple of weeks, which is really cool, called distraction versus traction, because it ties in really well with what we're aiming to do. It's from a book called Indistractable by Nerdy Owl. I'd highly recommend it. It's not just about productivity, but also just around personal fulfillment and things like that. And I found it really informative. And in it, they discussed this. So distraction, actions that move us away from what we really want, or we could call them the so-called bad habits. And then traction, so actions that move us toward what we really want, so the so-called good habits. And it really got me thinking, why do people do what they do? Because this is probably one of our toughest questions as sort of practitioners and nutritionists, dietitians, wondering why do people always revert back to type and do things they know they don't that pull them away from what they really want. So it really got me thinking. So I did a bit of deeper digging because we were doing a similar topic for a Westminster lecture recently, and I came across this book called The Challenge of Affluence. Now, I didn't read the book. I read a summary paper on it that was in the BMJ, and essentially, I don't want to go into detail, but they talked about how our environment caters for instantaneous reward. If we think about social media, and if we think about microwave foods and convenience foods, or whatever it is, in affluent countries, you always see an increase in an environment that caters for instantaneous reward, where hard work is not as you're not working as hard for the rewards as you might in other environments. And this links in quite well into how our brain perceives rewards. So there's different reward signaling in the brain. So there's three of them that we primarily know about, but the main ones are the red and the blue. So the red one, known as the mesolimbic pathway, is our pleasure and reward pathway. So reward-seeking behaviors, addiction, emotion, perception, are so-called bad habits, you could say. And then the blue line, our mesocortical pathway, cognition, memory, attention, emotional behavior, and learning, or potentially our so-called good habits. So you could link them quite well in with this model. So distraction, those actions that take us away from what we really want, but we get that short-term reward, that short-term fix. Compare that to traction, the mesocortical pathway, which is relating more to emotional behavior and learning. So actions that take us towards what we really want and provides us with fulfillment. So again, it got me thinking, so why do we do that? Why are so many people stuck in that red line? Why are they constantly in distraction and taking that quick fix? I was trying to think of a good analogy, and it's almost like our modern lifestyles are a bit of an evolutionary mismatch, and it's a bit like a pressure cooker, right? So our modern lifestyles are not fulfilling us in any way. Well, I mean, I'm not talking about me personally, but a lot of people are stuck in that cycle where they're not fulfilled, they're not finding purpose, and they're moving more and more towards distraction because they get that instant relief, that instant reward. So it's almost like the pressure cooker of their life is like building up this tension, this discomfort. And then each time they do a distraction action, such as checking their mobile phone or having a takeaway every night or whatever it is, those so-called bad habits that we're trying to help them move away from. They're currently stuck in that red line where they're opening the lid to relieve the pressure almost. So it's just like they've got all this tension up in their bodies from this lifestyle that they're not finding fulfillment in, and these little quick fixes relieve the pressure briefly. but then because they're not treating they're only treating the symptom, not treating the cause, the pressure in the cooker remains. Or you can turn down the heat, so you can treat the issue. You can turn down the heat on the pressure cooker, and then the pressure won't build up as tightly. And that's where we want people to get to take those traction behaviours, which actually treat the symptom and provide them with fulfilment, and it avoids them sort of building up this pent up negative energy and discomfort. And I asked a user who I've been working with over the last 3 months or whatever about this. I sort of gave her all these figures and I said, what is your take on it in your experience? Her response was really interesting. So it was a bit longer, but I cut down to just the end. But she said, being on SM has given me the skills to improve my life in so many ways. I feel like I'm in charge of my destiny now. She's turning down the heat. I can make choices and feel confident in doing so. So wanting something and having it used to be a reward in itself, just relieving that pressure. But now it's all tied up with being confident and making a good choice. I thought this was really cool. And hopefully you guys can take something away from this when you're working with people, to think about, how can we help people move towards traction, those good habits, and maybe show some empathy as to why they're stuck in that distraction cycle and that reward pathway at the moment. So I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. Sorry it was a long one, and see you soon.